Shvua Tov, everyone. Welcome to Tillis Tell Stories for Saturday night. The title of this week's video is Beyond Space. I translated and freely adapted it from the book Sipurei Hasidim. Subsequently, I included it in my first book, Saturday Night Full Moon. In the time of the great Hasidic master, Rabbi Dovber, the Maggid of Mezritch, successor to the Baal Shem Tov as the leader of the Hasidic movement, there lived in his town a Jewish householder who was both wealthy and an accomplished Torah scholar. He was able to devote most of his time to study and prayer. His wife ran the store that belonged to them, and he had to be there only 2 hours a day. The rest of his time was spent in the base Mezritch, learning Torah. The man was opposed to the Hasidic movement, and as such, had never gone to visit the Maggid. Can you imagine that? The Maggid of Mezritch lived in this town. He never went once to see him. One Friday morning, he came very early to the Beit Mezritch and saw several young men sitting there studying Torah. It seemed that they had been there most of the night. He didn't recognize any of them and realized they must be from out of town. He went over to greet them with the traditional Shalom Aleichem and conversed with them a bit, asking them where they had come from and why they had come. They told him they had journeyed from afar to see the Rebbe. Their reply made him think, people travel here from great distances to see the Maggid, while I, who live here in Mezritch, have never gone to see him even once. I really should do so at least one time. He thought some more. Of course, I cannot justify interrupting my Torah studies for such a thing, but I suppose I can skip going to the shop for one day. And that is what he did. When he entered the Maggid's room, he was immediately struck by the Maggid's holy appearance and the divine illumination that seemed to radiate from him. After that first encounter, he began to visit the Maggid more and more, even relinquishing some of his study sessions in order to do so. He eventually became totally attached to the Maggid as his Rebbe, heart and soul, just like the other devoted Hasidim. Then, after a while, his business took a downturn. As time went by, the decline became even more serious. His affairs continued to deteriorate until he was nearly impoverished, and he had been wealthy. He couldn't understand why this should have happened to him. Hadn't he increased his merit in the eyes of heaven by becoming a follower of the Great Maggid? But wait, it seemed that the beginning of his economic downfall could be traced to when he became a chassid. He decided to present this burning question to his holy teacher. The Maggid answered him, as a scholar, you must know what it says in the Talmud, in Brachos. Whoever wishes to be wise should face south in prayer. Whoever wishes to be wealthy should face north. For the menorah was positioned in the south, and the showbread on the table was stood in the north. The quote from the Talmud can also be translated, the Maggid continued, as go south, go north. Whoever wants to be wealthy, go south. Whoever wants, etc. And whoever wants to be wealthy should go north. Whoever wants to be wise should go south. And actually, the quote, both north and south, uses both north and south as verbs. Literally, whoever wishes to be wise should south. Whoever wishes to be wealthy should north. So let me ask you, continued the Maggid, what if someone wishes to be both wise and wealthy? There's a vast difference between north and south. The man didn't know what to answer. He waited silently. The Maggid continued, if a person makes himself as if he is nothing, then he becomes a spiritual entity, as that which is spiritual takes no space and is not restricted by space. He can be both here and there. This week's Torah reading discusses also the Ark of the Law, the Aron HaKodesh, which, if you examine its measurements against those of the surrounding sanctuary carefully, seems to have taken no space. The Maggid's words penetrated the new Chassid's heart. He worked on himself to become much more humble, shedding his scholarly haughtiness. As he did so, he found that his business took an upward turn, and it was not long until he was wealthy once again, as he had been initially. It's true, becoming more humble and less self-centered is probably a good idea for most everybody.